Well, good morning. Welcome to the demo center session. And I've just got some housekeeping things I want to take care of. First of all, can everybody hear however they do it? And can everybody see the captions? Want to welcome again Cindy Thompson. Cindy, she's located out near Chicago, and she has signed up to caption a majority of all of our meetings. So thank you, Cindy. Um, we also want to recognize Caption Call for underwriting the cost of captioning. And we can entertain questions by raising your hand. And at any time, I'll try to monitor that. You can also send a question via chat, and I'll do my best to keep track of that. And also, we want to remind you to fill out the evaluation that came with the Zoom invitation today. And Fred, I hope you got my email. I know exactly what happened. Yeah, hopefully my suggestion fixed it. Okay, what I'd like to do is turn it over to Lauren. She's going to do some screen sharing, and you can take it from there, Lauren.
Okay, thanks, Charlie. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. And I'm also looking at who we have on the meeting today and trying to sort of tailor the talk just a little bit so that I don't keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. I think most of the people here are very familiar with how to get to the virtual demo center. So that's not going to be much of an issue. But I think I'm going to just very quickly take us through it and rely, if anybody has a question, rely on somebody just raising their hand and telling me to stop and go back. Um, so just as actually, if you don't mind bearing with me a little bit, there are a couple things I want to get your opinion on. And I think it's a good idea if, and it depends on who joins the meeting, but it's a good idea if we have new people joining to tell them about our live demo center as well. And so I thought I would just run through that to say that in normal times that it's the live demo center is open the third Thursday of each month, September through June, but it's closed now due to COVID. And we have about 30 assistive listening devices available to visitors to see and test, and that's all completely free of charge. We also have trained volunteers to help visitors find an assistive listening device that might help them in some listening situations. And the volunteers are also able to help with testing the devices and with visitor questions. And the important thing, I think, is that most, if not all of us, have hearing loss, so we're likely to understand the issues that visitors are having. And this is all part of our chapter's charter under the heading of support of hard of hearing people and hearing loss education for hard of hearing people as well as the community in general. We don't sell or specifically recommend products, services, or purchasing sources, but are happy to share our personal knowledge and experiences. So to visit the chapter website for details about the live demo center, or just ask a question during the session. The Virtual Assistive Listening Device Demo Center, or for short, Virtual Demo Center, and abbreviated as VDC, is available to anyone 24 hours a day and 7 days a week online, and it can be accessed from the chapter website using your own PC, tablet, or smartphone. Originally, we designed the VDC to enable demo center visitors to later review devices that they saw and possibly tested in the demo center, and to let them do so at home and at their leisure. The VDC also provides information and videos on hearing loss and the Learning Center, I'll try to get there if I can. Eric has created some videos as well in that area that you may want to take a look at. Also, the BDC has apps for smartphones, tablets, and PCs, as well as purchasing sources and other related information. Um, we usually start the session with a brief introduction to the VDC, so I'm just going to start by showing people how to access it. And that is by starting on the HLAA Rochester homepage. And can you see this okay? Okay. And then I'll scroll down a little ways till I see VDC. And I'll click on that, and that'll take me directly to the VDC website. There's something in particular I want to talk about here today, but I'm going to just step through this sort of the way a first-time user probably would do it. And I want to point out that there are questions, or there's a questions or suggestions button here. So if anybody has either of those, a question, suggestion, a complaint, what you like, what you don't like, leave it here. And especially if you have ideas on devices that you would like to see us offer, that you have experience with, just leave that information here and leave your email address and your name if you'd like us to contact you. And finally, we're sort of limited in one respect, and that is being able to have separate Zoom meetings with you. But if you would like to have a separate one-on-one Zoom meeting to discuss assistive listening devices, leave that information here, and if we can, we'll get back to you and set up a Zoom meeting. So that's the question and suggestions page. Now I'm going to just click through. You'll see a couple pages. Here's an introduction. I'm going to click through here, but if this is your first time, I recommend you read both of those first pages. It'll help you to orient yourself. So this is the main page. And you see 8 images on the page. If you click on any image, you'll see deeper information on that subject. So demo center devices, hearing aid, CI, assistive accessories, etc. I'm going to, in a minute, talk a little bit about purchasing resources. But right now, what I'd like to do is just mention that this category you see here, or this area, some additional ALD devices that are not currently in the demo center. You can tell by the title that I had a problem trying to figure out what to say here. But anyway, I think this is going to be replaced. And it's going to be replaced by something that I think you, even if you've, many of you are members and actually on the technology committee, I think this will be interesting even for you. So I won't go there right now, but what I'm going to do is open up a different website. Eventually, the website I'm about to open will be accessible through this page, and it'll say something like device assistive listening devices beyond the demo center.
Lauren?
Yeah.
Just real quick, and correct me if I'm wrong, and this may be a minor point, but the as of date in the upper left-hand corner, I think you meant that to show as 2021.
Yeah, well, actually what I'm doing is I'm in the process of updating the website. So there will be a new website that will replace this one. And I didn't want to do the work in 2 places because some of the work is rather extensive. And number one, I didn't want to mess around with the live website because I'm a little afraid of really screwing something up. So I copied it, and I have the new date and the new information on the new website. I should be able to get that up within a week or 2. And when you see that, you'll see that this is replaced by the thing I just mentioned. We'll have the new date on there, and other minor things will be changed, like, well, let me go to it. and I'll tell you what will be changed. On their purchasing resources, you'll see that we don't recommend, but we list two separate vendors right now. And there are many other vendors that you could be using. In fact, you probably have something that you like, a vendor that you really like. But one vendor in particular has just changed their name, and this one, Harris Communications, is now called Diglo. I think that's how you pronounce it, Diglo. And besides changing their name, they also created a completely new interface to their catalog. And the feature that I really like about it very much, and I think this will help all of you, is it's a guide, the Diglo guide. And what it does, it asks you some questions about where you're having trouble. Are you having trouble hearing the TV? And well, let me just go into it. It's interactive. So I have some trouble hearing. It takes you to another page that says, oh, okay, so you have some mild hearing issues. Tell us more. And you notice they use the word mild here. I would say mild to moderate and maybe even the upper level of severe, but certainly not for somebody who has profound hearing loss. The devices that they're talking about just don't have that kind of power or capability. But let's suppose I say, yeah, I have trouble. Let's see, do you want to be alerted to activities and emergencies, or you have trouble hearing people? Can you read that, or is it too small? Too small? Oh, it's okay. All right. But let's suppose I have trouble hearing the TV or on the phone. I'll click on that. And then, oh, so you have trouble hearing TVs or phones. I can't hear on my smartphone, I can't hear on my landline, or I can't hear on my TV. Well, I can't hear on my TV. So then they tell me I need a sound amplifier. And what technology? Radio frequency, infrared, or Bluetooth? Well, many of us have smartphones, so let's suppose we're going to choose Bluetooth, which all our smartphones have. And then this one amuses me a little bit. You need a sound amplifier or TV. Are you going to be 300 feet or more away from your TV? I got a kick out of that. No, I'm going to be close to it. So we'll choose 30 feet or more. And then they ask, well, what would you like? A speaker? Would you like headphones, earbuds, maybe a stethoscope style listener, or a neck loop? And of course, if we have hearing aids or a cochlear implant, and we have telecoils in those devices, then we want to choose neck loop. So you can see how it's leading even, can you imagine just giving somebody a Diglo catalog, the old Harris Communications catalog, and say, well, what you need is probably in there, go look it up. That's a little bit difficult. So, but now that we've worked our way down through all those questions, they show us 6 different devices that might be interesting to us. None of which we have in the demo center, by the way, but we do have other devices in there. These are the devices that Diglo sells. If a person gets enough clues on what the device is called, they can go and do a Google search on the web, or even go to their favorite retailer and search for it there. Under that name.
I think it's important to make the point that this catalog warehouse inventory does not include proprietary devices available from your hearing aid maker.
That's a good point, Eric. Yeah, they're all third party, and in fact, that's one of the things on the virtual demo center we try initially. I think on the second page, what we do is we say, if you wear hearing aids or a cochlear implant, the best place for you to start is with your manufacturer, the manufacturer of your device. And then they can click the link that takes them to, remember all those hearing aid links and all the cochlear implant links. That'll take them directly to those websites. So, but that's a very good point that needs to be mentioned as we go through this. Thank you. So that's really what I wanted to mention about this this website. You don't have to buy it here. You can if you want. You click on it. And by the way, I forgot to mention that. Let's suppose you click on one of these devices like this one down here, the Clear Sounds Bluetooth TV listening system. You can get much deeper information on it. You get an overview on what it does, what some of the features are. So you can read through that, and then you can click on the additional details link and see specifications on it, more details and deeper. What kind of battery does it use? Does it include batteries? And then accessories, well, I don't expect anything here because basically this is an accessory. You can ask them questions or see questions that other people have asked here. You can look at customer reviews of the products, a lot like you would see on an Amazon page. There's one, and this person says it doesn't fit very well for him, but that's okay. It might fit for somebody else. And this is a good part, I think. You can download the manual and see exactly how to set it up and how to use it. So I think any question you'd want to know about the devices that they sell, you can probably find on their webpage. And by the way, if you don't like their price, you can go and search Amazon or some other website. But we found that this, in our opinion, for us, like we say, we can't recommend anyone in particular, but we've bought many products from these people and we found them to be reliable. And that's about all I can say about it. So, other than that, Charlie, I'm about done talking. I could go back and walk through the website, but I think.
Yeah, let's, one question I had, and I haven't had a chance to call the folks at Diglo. Right now, as my understanding is that HLAA chapters and members receive a 20% discount on their products. Sue, do you know anything any different than that? Okay. I'm assuming so far the last purchases we did, they honored the 20% discount.
Okay.
And of course, the chapters don't have to pay state sales tax. But I just wanted to point that out. Does anybody else have any questions about what we just saw? Sue has a question.
I absolutely love this neck loop that Lauren put me onto. But I know that this one is outdated. And I'm just wondering, I'm fascinated with what you just did. I had no idea that there was this much information available through our website. It's just amazing. I'm just wondering about how I would find an update on this and if it would really be worth it to get another one.
Let's see how well this works. So
let's try that. Let's try that, Eric or Lauren.
And I have trouble. Let's see.
Hearing my computer.
Keep you on the phone. It's called. I have trouble hearing.
There's more down there that if you lift the screen up.
Oh, this one's interesting. I didn't see that before.
Yeah.
There is no such thing. Okay. I don't see anything here that would be obvious to a first-time user.
It might be close to hearing, trouble hearing your TV. TV would be a similar interface, but you're right. Folks may not realize that.
How about when I'm on my smartphone?
Ah.
That's where you might need an amplifier. I'll try that. Aha.
There we go.
Oh,
Now, these are not actually neck loops, unfortunately. This is called a neck loop, but oh, maybe that is an amplified neck loop.
It would work as one.
You know, the one that I thought was so good was made by Beltone, and I noticed that they don't sell it anymore, even though one of their customer service agents said that Beltone is the one that worked for her because her hearing loss was so bad. So that was the one I was hoping we would order. We'll have Charlie and Dan and Eric, we'll have to discuss that a little bit further and see what we'll buy to replace the one that Sue is, the brand that Sue has.
There is a second option with an inline amplifier, which
Yes,
is something that Bruce Nelson mentioned, which I think probably one of the cheaper ways. Neck loops, I've had several neck loops and they just go bad after a while. It's
Yeah.
just nothing you can do about it. And those amplified ones are expensive.
actually not. I bought one. I bought the one that Bruce has, and I have it here. And Sue, if you want to borrow that, you're welcome anytime. Anybody is really.
What
Yeah.
I meant,
And
what
I-
I meant is the amplified neck loops are expensive. The inline
Yeah,
amplification is probably inexpensive, and a regular neck loop is, fairly inexpensive to
Yeah.
replace.
I paid, I think, $26 through Amazon for that amplifier. And I tried it with a neck loop, or no, I didn't try it with a neck loop because I don't have a neck loop here. But it worked fine just for amplifying into headphones. It does a real good job. You're right. I really think that is a good way to go. The downside would be that if you want something you can just wear around your neck and carry along, then the amplified neck loop is easier because it's all in one piece.
Yeah.
what's
It's
the difference? You're talking about two different kinds of neck loops.
Yeah.
Amplified, and then Dan talked about another one. What's the difference?
Yeah, just a regular neck loop like we have in the demo center. Let me go back and
Ah,
show you that.
okay.
Sue, when you first started using the neck loop, you had to hold it up in your ears, if you remember.
I did.
And now you have what they call an amplified neck loop, which takes batteries. But what we're talking about is going back to the original neck loop that you had to hold up in your ear and put what they call an inline amplification, which is like a little box that you set on your desk and plug into from in between the computer and your neck loop. And you can turn that up and down, but it would stay with with your computer or laptop, or it's not really portable like your amplified neck loop is.
Does that also, if using that one, because when Scott and I both tried to watch a program, this that I use shuts out the audio and Scott can't hear anything.
You would need what they call a splitter.
A split. Oh, now Bruce is holding up something. What's Bruce holding up?
That's that is the amplifier that we're talking about.
Ah,
And Bruce, you have that connected to your
The inline amplifier.
Can you show us how it's connected to your neck loop?
Okay. I wasn't using neck loop today, but this
I
is
thought you were. Okay.
it's a neck loop. Okay. And then it plugs into the amplifier.
Yep.
Right here.
Yeah.
And then this
Okay.
wire here is a double-ended, has this plug on both ends. Where's the camera there? Has this plug on both ends. And so that one plugs into there, and this one plugs into the speaker, into the audio output of whatever I want to listen to, whether it's the cell phone or the amplifier from the or the speaker from the computer, and I hear it in the hearing aids.
do you put your T-switch on?
It works pretty good.
You have to if you're wearing a neck loop, yes.
Folks.
Switch.
Can I
Yeah.
comment? Can I comment on this because it's very timely? My 91-year-old father-in-law just bought a brand new 50-inch Samsung TV, beautiful TV,
I know what you're going
and
to say.
I knew right away what the challenge was going to be because I did the research. I looked at various manufacturers, Samsung, LG, whatever you want. And in that class flat screen TV, not only is it limited in the outputs. For example, none of the TVs in that class have a headphone output. And that addresses the issue that when you plug anything into the outputs they have, you have a choice in the menus. You can either have the sound coming out of the speakers of the TV, or you can have it sent to an external device. And I verified it. I got a hold of tech support at Best Buy, and they said none of the TVs have what they call multi-sound output anymore. They just discontinued that in 2018, where you can plug something in and still have the sound coming out of the speakers of the TV and be able to adjust them separately. So I'm still investigating. It's not so much the fact that you plug something in. It's the fact that you have to go to a menu and you have to decide which sound you want to hear. So for those of us with a hearing loss with those types of TVs, I have not yet found a way to have it both ways. Go ahead, Dan.
I've had that question online, Charlie, and what I advise people, they've got the kind of TV that it's either or, you can't have both. And I tell them to look around. They can find a sound bar that has an aux out plug.
Yeah.
And then away you go.
I've never found one. I've never found one that has a output plug on it, Eric. If you know of one, let me know.
Yeah, I looked into that too. I probably looked at 20 different models of sound bars, and first of all, very few of them had any output whatsoever.
Right. Yeah.
And the ones that had an output were still the digital optical, which I'm trying to think in my mind, why would they even do that?
So
that's what I use for my TV streamer. This is the optical cable.
Yeah, but Dan, you probably have a TV that's old enough that you can still have the sound coming out of the speakers.
But I have a resound, TV streamer.
Right.
That plugs into the back. It shouldn't interfere with the speakers, and it doesn't for me.
Like I say, it's not a function of plugging something in. It's a function of the menus in the sound setup of the TV. It can either send sound out the optical output, or the speakers on the TV.
Yeah.
It doesn't allow you to do both, and that's something new. Yes, sir.
The thing that I ran into this problem about 2 years ago, and I spent hours and hours trying to figure it out, and it was frustrating as heck. But here is one solution. Here is a solution I use. What I wanted to do is to be able to hear the TV. My wife could hear the TV through the sound bar, and I could hear it through a pair of headphones.
Yeah.
This is a splitter that uses optical input. So you plug that into your TV, and you get both RCA out and a headphone jack. So I plug that RCA out into our sound bar, and then I can plug a headphone into the headphone jack. Well, I don't use a headphone anymore. I use a Compilot. So what I do is I plug, I have to think about this now. Yeah, I still plug the RCA into the sound bar, and I plug the headphone output. Now, what do I do?
No, you're onto it. Go ahead, Lauren. You got it, because I also looked at this at Best Buy, and I see where you're going with it. But
so let me digress for a minute. I went to Best Buy looking for this device. They didn't have it. But the guy I talked to said, well, we don't have that one, but we have this one. And I said, wait a minute. All this does is decode regular digital. It's an SPDIF decoder. It does not decode Dolby. If you use that and your set produces Dolby, like mine does, my Panasonic, if I'm watching regular TV, most of the programs are going to be straight PCM output.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it works with. If I'm watching, let's say, Netflix, where they have Dolby Digital, then the TV output's Dolby Digital. And all I get on that little converter is static. So I said, I knew what the answer was going to be, but I said, okay, I'll take it home, but I don't think it'll work. So I did, and then I brought it back. And then I went and bought this, which is one of the few that I found that decodes Dolby Digital. And this is a great little device that's been working for 2 years now for me.
Yeah, but what I got to ask, Lauren, what does, if your wife is listening at the same time, what is she listening by? What are you talking about, a sound bar?
Sound bar, yeah. The
Okay,
sound
see.
bar is input is from the RCA jacks off
Yeah,
this
right.
device.
And that solves the problem of the either or, Charlie, because if you put a splitter on it, you can drive a TV connector and the soundbar.
Yeah, I know, but the same thing, this now falls under the category. It gets very expensive to have a hearing loss.
Oh yeah,
It
it does.
does.
But
Yeah.
this one is relatively cheap.
I-
But,
No, I understand that, but
no.
you still have to buy a sound bar.
Yeah.
oh yeah, well,
A poor man's solution is you take your Roger device or external mic and you place it near the TV. I've done that in some of our auxiliary TVs. The other, and that leads into another discussion on Lauren's demonstration of the Diglo page.
do you?
Diglo talks about discrete devices. They don't talk about the combination possibilities.
Right.
Like and Sue would appreciate that this is a cordless pocket talker.
That's why we have the demo center, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can take a standard pocket talker, put a wireless mic on it, and a neck loop in place of the earphone, and you basically got a wireless microphone with tone control, volume control, anything you want. I've set this by our auxiliary TVs, and it works great.
So I want to show one other device though for that situation.
Charlie, I have a question. If you have a neck loop installed in your house, does this solve the problem?
No, I'm talking about my father-in-law who lives in an apartment by himself. And he got hearing aids from the VA, which are fairly new, but they are in the ear hearing aids. They do not have a T-coil. There's another issue. He falls into that category of folks as you age. He is not able to do many directions. In other words, going through the menus in the TV is not an option. He's not able to do that. In other words, he needs devices. You push one button, and maybe what I'm trying now is a Bluetooth headset. You push one button, and that's it. And then you don't have to do anything else.
Giddy up and mow.
Yeah.
By the way,
Charlie,
Yes, sir.
I just bought a TV Tuesday, a 50-inch TCL, and it has a headphone jack in the back. It's got a lot of other things. I just checked just now when you were speaking because I don't really need captioning or anything, but I just looked. It's got a whole bunch of plugins, HDMI, and a whole bunch of other things. But it does, and it's got a headphone symbol on it. But it's a 50-inch smart television. It's very, very nice.
What brand was that, Al?
It was a TCL. And I
Okay.
bought it at Walmart for $240. It was a really good buy.
Yeah. Well, then that's one of the exceptions. I walked around. We found a good deal on a 50-inch Samsung. And I probably looked at everything in that class in that store, and not a one of them had a headset output.
in fact, my TV has only an optical output. That's all.
That's what this one has. The only audio output this one has is an optical.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Now
let
it
me-
does have Bluetooth.
well, and you're trying that now, right?
Yeah. Again, the problem is in that setup,
It
when you
cuts
go
it out.
through the audio menus, you have a choice, either sending it to the Bluetooth device or the TV speakers, not both at the same time.
Okay. Now here is another option. Let me just show you this. So this one that I just showed you has headphone and RCA output. but it only has one optical input, right? So that's the optical input is used for this and nothing else. You can also buy, and I bought this, and actually one of our members, Barbara Sargent, made use of this. It's a JTEC digital splitter for optical. So you plug optical of your TV into one port and you've got 3 more outputs. They're all optical, so you can drive 3 more optical devices with it.
Yep.
Are you getting all this, Sue? We got a quiz after this.
Oh, oh, so much of this is over my head.
Well, see, this is the point, folks, is that the technology probably exists to do what each individual needs to do. And that's what we found, is that everyone is different. But what I'm running into, folks similar to my father-in-law, they're no longer able to follow any kind of directions or do any kind of menu selections on anything.
Yeah.
Whatever you come up with, you just have to plug it in. And maybe if you have 2-button operation, that might be feasible. But anything beyond that, we get a phone call.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
heavens he has you for a son-in-law.
Well, he's a trooper. I mean, he's willing to try all this stuff, but after a while, he wanted to get this new TV, which we bought about a month ago. And I knew immediately, before we even bought it, this is what was going to happen.
Right.
Well, here we are.
You don't have to be a senior. Folks of any age can have trouble if they're non-technical.
Right.
My house, it's common to hear things like, Eric.
Eric, am I the only one who's having a struggle to hear what you're saying? And I really want to hear what you're saying because it's always valuable. But I can't say it sounds very muffled. Is it just me?
No, I have that problem too. It's something about that microphone. I don't know what it is, but it's almost like you're in a barrel, Eric.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming out of the mic that's on your headset. I think it's still coming from the computer, is my guess. You still sound far away.
Yeah.
Oh,
We can check the Zoom audio settings down the bottom left, Eric,
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
and see what it says for
Yeah.
a microphone. And
My mic is set to automatic and it's way low.
okay, see what there's a drop down there. See if
Yeah. Now that's turned up. Is that any better?
No, it's just
Yeah.
noisy now.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, it is off my boom, but it was the automatic had it turned way down low for some reason.
that happens a lot.
Yeah.
I've had circumstances through our church where, and I don't know why yet. This is all technical stuff that I throw out here. We also not only broadcast to Zoom, but we broadcast to Facebook. And the instant the pastor connects to Facebook broadcast, it's only sometimes, the automatic setting in the mic cuts it all the way down to almost off.
Yeah.
He has to go back into the settings for the audio. And once he readjusts it again, it's fine. But it seems to be the pattern connecting live to Facebook with Zoom. There's some kind of a reaction. Very strange.
Grumbling. Yahudi. Some of you are too young to know who Yahudi was.
Well, I got to tell you,
Even the captioner. Oh, well, at least the most important thing is the captioner can hear you.
For the captioner's benefit, Yehudi was the little genie that sat in your refrigerator and turned on the light when you opened the door.
Charlie,
Yes, sir.
I may have something that your father-in-law might be able to use. I have an old FM that I purchased many years ago from Radio Shack, and it was used to put on a camcorder.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Somebody on the lake. Okay, and the person on the lake would use the the microphone. And I'd have the receiver attached to the to the thing. You could use this in front of a television back when my hearing was very poor, and it would pick up the sound very good, or take it to meetings. And he's welcome to use it, you know.
So in other words, it's a separate setup. In other words, it actually uses the transmitter microphone
Yeah.
pointed at the speaker of the TV.
Yeah. Well, you could put it in front of the television and pick up the sound, then you would wear, you know,
Yeah.
wear a Sony headset or whatever, you know.
Right. Well, that would solve the problem of having to choose between the speaker and the output.
Yeah.
Again, the question is, even with an FM system, you have to do this, then you have to do that. I don't know if he'd be able to follow those instructions, but thank you. I'll give that,
Yeah.
give that a thought.
Okay.
And in response to Fred's question earlier, yeah, you can install a small loop in your TV room, and then it's a no-brainer. You walk in and it works, and just turn on your T-coils. I've also got a like we have at the demo center. I've got a cushion loop. You put it underneath the cushion of your favorite easy chair, and you drive it just like a small room loop, and away you go. You sit in that chair, you got the signal.
Yeah, but his father-in-law doesn't have T-coil.
He doesn't have a telecoil in his hearing.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, his loss may be such, and here we go again. This is a common issue. When he's using, we're trying to use Bluetooth headsets, I recommended that he take out his hearing aids and use them with it, you know, use the headset.
Yeah.
Well, he's scared to death that he's going to drop one of those hearing aids and never be able to find it.
Yeah.
He is so resistant. I can understand that. I mean,
Yeah.
he would have a difficult time. And then, of course, as you're looking for them, you step on them.
Yeah. My mother's been through 2 sets, so I know. Yeah.
Charlie,
Is it
are there,
possible for the VA to give him behind the ear hearing aids so that he can have a telecoil?
It's not out of the question, but where he is right now, and he's not the only one within that system, because I've had others ask me the same thing. Once they set you up with hearing aids, they want to move on to people that have nothing. And so it's not that they wouldn't do it, but I don't know if he's willing to go through that again and try that out. But yeah, I thought about that.
Of course, you can get a pocket talker with a T-coil in it.
Yeah, I can't believe that somebody needs to get to the VA audiologist and teach them about T-coil, him or her.
Well, Dan, you know, I try to do the best I can. First
I know you
of all,
do.
they
Yeah.
don't, and this is again, nothing against the VA. In fact, I think recently their services have improved vastly. They're fantastic.
Mhm.
But I remember he's had the hearing aids for quite some time. And when I found out, you see, he's the type of person, here I was doing what I do. He never told me he was going to go get hearing aids.
Oh, gee.
And how would I know that? He said, well, he came home one day, and this was a long time ago. He said, boy, these really help. I said, what? He said, I got hearing aids. I said, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
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 Ah,
There too many people at the VA and a lot of audiologists think that T-coils are just for public loops. They don't realize all of the other applications, plugging it into your computer if you're working from home. The applications are endless, really.
hey,
Right.
Charlie, if he's wearing fully in the ear hearing aids, would a headset should work just fine for him then, right?
I think you're right, Lauren. In fact, this whole thing started out. His old TV had a headset output, and we fed it to one of those Sennheiser RF units,
Yeah.
which he would then use the headphones with his hearing aids in, and that worked just fine. What killed the whole idea is that now not only do a lot of TVs don't have a headset out, but even the output they have, like I said, you have to make a choice. So we could no longer use the Sennheiser wireless system because there was no way of getting an output from this new TV.
It looked like you're gonna have to take fluorine suggestions up. I think that's the route.
Unless you're a ham operator and you're not afraid to get in there with a soldering iron, Charlie.
You know, one other thing you could try, Charlie, if you remember, you see we have this here link.
Yes,
Works with these.
yes,
I think it should also pair with any device, but otherwise a cheap transmitter that has an optical input, Bluetooth would work.
Yeah.
well,
just
that's what we essentially, again, as soon as you plug in the cable to the back of the TV, of the optical output, it's normally the TV defaults to the built-in speakers. You
Yeah.
have to go into the
All right,
menu and
all right.
change it to optical, which shuts off the speakers.
I see. Okay. Yep, that's a problem. So yeah, you need a splitter, no question. A splitter and another
He's
speaker.
a splitter. That's
Yeah.
right.
You can buy, you can just buy
Yeah.
a cheap speaker. You don't have to buy a whole sound bar, really.
I understand.
But having said that, I've found that in cases of mild to moderate loss, sometimes just putting a soundbar in front solves the whole problem. Because most TVs are set up with the speakers in the back of the TV for some reason.
Exactly. Yes, that is a problem.
And they're pushing sound in the wrong direction. If you
Right.
bring it around front by means of a soundbar, it becomes a lot clearer and easier to understand. So for some people, that's enough.
What's interesting too is some sound bars advertise a feature that I think doesn't work very well. And I'll tell you why. It's a feature where you can actually make the sound sharper.
Yeah.
So you have a hearing loss.
Yeah.
But that doesn't do you a darn bit of good if there are 3 people in the room and one with hearing loss.
Yeah.
The other 2 people then are going to hear artificial sounds, right?
Yeah.
Artificially high sound.
Right.
So,
Well, it's the same old issue, even with his in-the-ear aids. And I asked him, can I see an audiogram? And he said, of course, a what?
Yeah.
I said, so I have no idea what his hearing loss looks like. I can only guess, but I think he has a valid concern that with his brand new TV, he has to turn it up so loud for him to hear it. He's afraid his next door neighbor is going to complain. And whenever we visit him and he's watching TV, we can't talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But thanks, guys. I mean, these are all suggestions that would apply to a lot of people.
Yeah.
This is, I think, what we're finding in the demo center. Interfacing a device is getting more and more of a challenge because everyone that walks in the door, you don't know what TV they have or what sound system they have. You don't know what connections and they don't either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have that trouble on the top chat groups on the social media. People have no idea what they're working with.
right.
So-
This is Fred. Last night, I watched a Zoom meeting put on by the Albany chapter, and they reviewed a book called Life After Death. And there was approximately 89 people signed up on it. I didn't see anybody from our chapter, but they certainly brought out a lot of interesting questions. The author went through explaining different things that he discussed it through the book, and it certainly highlighted a lot of the problems that we're discussing here. And so this would be a good reference for people to see if they can pick up that book at the library or through some other source. It's called Life After Death, DEAF. I don't have the author's name right in front of me, but it was an excellent presentation last night by the Albany chapter.
Was it the author who actually did the program, or did someone talk about the book?
It was the author doing, I believe National also had that previously on one of their websites.
That would be a good article for our chapter newsletter, Bruce.
Yeah, and that book would be nice for the Lending Library once we're open back up again.
Fred, I'm going to find out. Actually, Dan and I advised the folks that put that together on how to do it with Zoom. And that was Mary Kate Owens and Gary Schwartz of the Albany chapter. And we had been in touch with them on the technical issue. The only reason I didn't attend is I was hosting our Zoom Ash Wednesday service at our church at the same time. I'm going to find out if they recorded that session.
I didn't get any notices about that one. I can't find anything. So I don't know. Actually, that brings up the subject real quickly, that the chapter needs to find a way to advertise all these sessions that we hear about through the different means that we hear about them. I mean, I get some off of the leaders list, and I get some off the tech list, and I get some just because I get some, but we need a central repository of being able to tell all our members where all these sessions are.
That's a great idea.
And we need to bring that up at the some of the meeting. But yes, we need to be able to, because I get, sometimes I get notice about 2 minutes before the meeting starts. Oh, golly, and I'll go get on it. But we need to be able to advertise these things. And we need to, and advertise.
I know they advertised it on the Albany chapter website, but
I
didn't know that. How would you know? And that's where you went. It was similar.
Yeah, it wasn't on the national list.
Yeah.
There is a national list, that an ad hoc list that the Girl in California is putting together, but it's not complete. But, I'll have to get on the Albany chapter website and get on their list. Yeah. And if I have rights to the article, I'll publish it. By the way, I got to find out what I'm allowed to do. If there's a book review or something, I can get permission. I'll see what I can do.
That would be great. And while we're just talking about technology, Bruce, your article on the telecoil was just terrific.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Oh, it was easy to understand. 99%. I see you guys and Barb as the 1% of people who understand technology. But the rest of us who need, like basic 101, your article was just terrific. Thank you for doing that. I don't know how you have time to write the articles and also put the newsletter together.
While I'm sleeping.
While you're sleeping.
While I'm sleeping, yeah.
Oh.
It's on an unrelated topic. I noticed in the latest Journal of Hearing Life that March the 3rd is World Hearing Day, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, I didn't find out about it until the moment after I sent the thing to RIT.
Well,
I got the notice. Yeah, I got to find out about it after RIT already had the thing. Yeah.
The problem with that is that I don't, and I've tried to track it down a little bit. If you go to our national website, they mention World Hearing Day, but then you click on the link and it takes you to a page that doesn't really tell you anything useful. And I think World Hearing Day is more or less just an advertisement that, if you guys want to do something on World Hearing Day, advertise it as World Hearing Day. But, we're not telling you what to do or not doing anything ourselves. So
I think it's basically something that the World Health Organization invented to justify their existence.
Well, I don't know, but it's a good idea, if people sign up. But
Michelle put something on the website about, or she was going to, and I think we mentioned it to Jennifer and Galen about putting it on Facebook and the social media. So all we were interested in doing after Lauren brought it to our attention a while ago was just awareness, just letting our members know that March 3rd is World Hearing Day or Day of Hearing. What is it? Day of Hearing or
World Hearing Day, right?
World Hearing Day.
Yes, and it is on our chapter website. Here it is.
Yeah. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
can
just,
you show it?
well, it's just taking a while to come up. That's all. Zoom makes everything slower. Look for World Hearing Day here somewhere. There it is.
There it is, right there.
But that's it. I mean, so what do you do about it? If you
World
go,
Health Organization, World Hearing Day. Well, she doesn't have the date.
no, she doesn't.
Um,
It's probably not too important though, because there's no actionable work there. If you
But
go to,
next year, we talked about next year though,
yes,
bringing it to, doing some, recognizing it and just honoring the fact that March 3rd is World Hearing Day,
and that
celebrating World Hearing Day.
I really, I still like the idea if we would set up that Be Here Now kiosk or that We're in Here kiosk, let's say in a Wegman store, if they'd let us do it. With the amount of traffic they get through there, if they had a big sign out front that says World Hearing Day, stop by the kiosk, I think that would, a lot of people would see that.
Yes. Now, is this on our chapter website, or is this is just like Google?
That was chapter website that I showed you.
No, but right now what you're showing is
Oh,
World Hearing Day. What?
yeah, I'm going to the Who. Sounds like a musical group, doesn't it? Going to Who's website, and it's taking a while to get there. I see the little thing is spinning and spinning and spinning.
Yeah.
There, let's just click on a different one.
You know what? I have a thought. Looking at all of us who are here today, I'm looking at Barbara, and Barb, just unmute yourself for a second. If you would ever somehow help to remind us that this is next year. Is it always March 3rd, or is it like,
Always March 3rd, yes.
okay, Barb, next year, say a couple of months, maybe like in January, would you ever be willing to, here I go, be willing to, I know, but you know what? Right now, Barbara has been involved with our houses of worship, and since we're not really, houses of worship aren't even meeting. Maybe Barb would be willing to take this under her wing and learn a little bit more about World Hearing Day. It is put out by the World Health Organization, and help to just remind us that, do we want to have an article in our newsletter? Do we want to have kiosk, or what do we want to do about it? And it's a great education and outreach effort. So Barb, is this anything you think you'd ever be comfortable doing?
I don't know. If I just have to be able to find out more about it.
Well, maybe between now and say the end of the year,
Yeah,
the end of December 2021, if you have the time to just check it out, look into World.
I'll check it out. I will check it out. Yeah.
Wonderful. And then the first of the year, January 1st, if you could maybe just alert whoever is serving as president, and just as a reminder, just remind us, hey, you all wanted to do something about World Day of Hearing. So, because I have a feeling all of these guys are all involved in technology.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
And so if you could ever help to just remind us about this World Day of Hearing, March 3rd, and do we want to do anything about it? That
Folks, I've got to cut in. We are out of time. Lauren, maybe you can stop sharing just so we can
Yeah.
end with a gallery view.
Okay.
I'm going to shut the recording off momentarily. And Cindy, if you have to leave, thank you very much. You did a great job.
Yes.
I won't end the meeting immediately. I'm just going to stop the recording.
Charlie, I assumed we were going until 11:30. I'm sorry. I was going on about that.
Yeah. I have a question.